Hello everyone and welcome to Bevins Bricks. I'm Daryl, and in today's video, well, I've been getting asked a lot about when am I going to work on my highway. Now without further ado, here it is. Now this is just a small section of freeway that I've actually come up with, and I'm actually, now that I've built it a little bit, there's a few things that I'm looking at changing. But first things first, let me point out one of my mistakes. With that being said, this yellow line that you see on either side is supposed to be up here in the center. So that is my first mistake. But what I'm looking at doing is making 3 of these sections. And let me kind of take it downtown, if you will. Going downtown. Anyway, if you look up from the bottom, what I've actually come up with is I am doing a 2-column system, and then I actually have beam work that I'm putting throughout the base of it. Trying to give you a little bit of a closer view of what I'm talking about. What I've done is I've made these little channels underneath here. And by doing that, and then you can see I have the cross supports there, and then I have another cross support here. And by doing that, it's allowing me to not have to have as many support beams as I thought I was going to have to. Now, I'm going to end up using a ton of pieces doing this, but again, this is a rough draft, and I'm actually going to be changing this up just a little bit. So that was one of the reasons I wanted to actually kind of put this together, just to give me a better idea of how it was going to appear and how it was going to look. Now, overall, I am tickled by this. I think it looks absolutely amazing. Really happy with how it's turning out. But like I said, I already see a few different things that I'm going to change, but I just want to show you it is pretty good and stout. And as you can see, it's built on a mill's plate, so that gives it the ease of being able to transport it. Now, because I am always asked, why do I build on mill's plates? I want to show you the reasoning for just that. With me having this section of highway built onto a mill's plate, when I want to go transport this, I can simply pick it up and carry it around, as you can see here. And that is probably one of the biggest reasons that I do mills plates builds only. Keep in mind, and I always tell everybody this, it is an expensive method, and I won't argue that at all. But I tell you what, the cost is worth the effort just because of the simple fact of the matter. It makes everything so much easier to transport, and it's just easier to work on, easier to make things modular. It just makes everything just beyond easy. I don't know how else to explain it, but not even that. You have a really solid base to work with, and again, that is why I like to use the mill's base plate system, and I try to talk people into doing it all the time myself. Anyway, though, some of the things I'm looking at changing, besides the mistake of putting the yellow line over here and it's supposed to be over here, one of the things I'm looking at doing is, number one, I'm going to probably fill this in the whole length down there. Number two, when you come up underneath here and look, I have this square channel, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to get some different parts that are actually extremely cheap. It should make it look a little bit more decorative, but it's also going to give me some added strength. So, and I'll be showing you what that part is, hopefully in one of the newer videos after I make a few orders. But all in all, I am really tickled about this project. I'm really happy with how this is looking. And this is probably the biggest portion or biggest way I'm going to be building this anyway, is I'm going to be building, this is on a mill's plate, which is a 64 by 64 mill's plate. So with that being said, and to be able to come across my entire table, I'm going to have to build probably 5 of these. What I will end up doing is I will take and put some Technic pin bricks in the sides here, so that way after I get it together, I can simply just kind of lock it together and then walk away. And if I ever need to pull a section out, I can again just simply come over, disconnect it, and bring it over to my table to work on this space. One of the most difficult things that I found trying to figure out how to do this was figuring out the exact distance I needed to come all the way across in order to make this actually work well, how many plates, how many bricks, and all that stuff. And it's like I've tried to tell people before, and I do think I do have a quick tips and tricks video about how to do snot building. And one of those tips is that anytime you are thinking about building in snot, you have to look at a brick being sideways as being 2.5 plates. So when you're calculating everything out, always remember to go 2 bricks is 5 plates. And then you can start calculating your widths and all that. So that is one of the complications. And something else that I did is, if you can see here, the very center of this, what that is a snot brick with studs on both sides. So I physically have one side of the road going this way and one side of the road going that way, is how I was able to accomplish this look. And then for the center line, because this is the brick with studs on all sides, I just simply attach the center barrier wall on top of that. And then on the edge, I'm actually using a 1x2 Technic brick that pops onto the end of it, and then my wall cap goes around it, which actually, believe it or not, that alone makes this a pretty strong build. But me being the person that I am, I'm never happy unless I have everything fully supported, and that's why I have all this going on down here. And again, there's going to be a few more modifications before I actually make this a finished product and start making this to be able to fit into my city, because I cannot wait to get this in my city. As you could see in the thumbnail of this video, I actually already placed it in my city just to give you kind of an idea of what it's going to look like, and man, am I ever happy.